reviewing the music that has nothing to do with it. Here we are broadcasting semi-live from the Lease Ranch at an undisclosed location. It's Tim and George.
I'm here, so that does mean it's Tim and George.
That means it's Tim and George, or George and Tim.
Yeah.
And we are getting ready to watch Mallrats, 1995.
Kevin Smith's sophomore opus.
Shannon Doherty.
Yes, 1993 brought Clerks, which was made for, I don't know, about $7. It was a student film. Ended up, going to the Cannes Film Festival. This huge thing. This is the first movie, I think, that, was obviously a big budget film. Jay and Silent Bob are back, but you've also got, Shannon Doherty's in it, Michael Rooker, Jason London, Jason Lee, Ben Affleck.
Right.
It's cult classic. It's great. It's 1995. Year I graduated high school. Was that the year you got married, or
Nah, that's 5 years before that.
Okay.
1990.
Wow.
And I might add that the reason we're watching this movie tonight is because George couldn't score a copy of Clerks.
Yeah, so,
So
you know
there
what?
you go, Cumberland. Step up your game.
F's to FYE and to Walmart and everybody else. Because they ripping everybody up in here. No, and a quick comment from last week.
In your windows.
Apparently, after a 20-hour day, and I'm not making excuses, but after a 20-hour day at the end of the podcast last week, when we were covering Fantastic Four, I apparently dropped the F-bomb a couple of times. I got some heat for that because there was, I guess, younger people listening, and we didn't mark it as explicit.
Yeah, it was not safe for work, and we apologize. So I'll try not to make
apologize.
George lose his head tonight.
Yeah, I'd like to blame Tim for this as much as possible, but unfortunately I can't.
Right.
So I'm sorry about that, but we're going to move on. We're going to try to avoid the F-bomb, and in the future, if that does happen, I'll make sure it's marked as explicit. But that said, we're actually getting ready to sit down and watch an extended version of a movie that barely got through an R rating because it's filthy. So the goal is to cover it without that.
Yeah, so don't watch it with your kids, eh?
A lot of people are thinking, hey, maybe a lot of people, I don't know, maybe a dozen or maybe 1,000.
Who knows?
I don't know, but judging from the heat I got last week or from this last episode, we definitely had quite a few listeners. Anyway, my point being is this doesn't seem like a classic superhero comic book movie,
right? But it's got Kevin Smith,
and the references are
off the charts.
Off the charts. I don't want to give away a couple of cameos that are in this movie because you've never seen it.
I've bits and pieces. The early '90s, I wasn't movie going very much. I was raising two children with my wife, so
right.
As I should have been.
So
anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and start this movie off. What's great about it is I've seen it so many times that I know the words to it. And Tim has not ever seen the whole movie. So you'll get two completely separate points of view. I can already tell you, a huge thumbs up. I love this movie.
All right, cool. I'm sure I'll be right there with you.
All right. So you ready to kick it off?
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right, as the movie scrolls the end of Mallrats, what is your impression? What did you think?
I loved it, man. I was blown away. I'm sorry I haven't seen it sooner.
It was good times. It was funny. There was so much of it about it that I forgot about, or just didn't remember because I probably haven't seen it in about 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
that turned out.
So what stood out?
Well, obviously, all the covers at the beginning. I was watching that. I was like pulling out all the names. I could tell who was doing the art of the covers in the beginning of the movie before it even scrolled down. You could see their autograph. Jay Lee, all those dudes, man. J. Scott Campbell, Mike Allred.
Yeah.
So it definitely had some huge comic book influence. It revolved around Jason Lee's comic book collection, the whole way through the movie. Anyway,
how about Stan? That was more than a.
That was more
than a Stan Lee cameo.
That was more than a walk-on cameo, man. That was like a good solid 5 minutes of Stan.
Yeah, I thought he did pretty good too.
Yeah, 20 what did they say? 22 years. 22 years ago.
22 years ago. It was shocking how young he looked.
Yeah, a lot younger and hairier, and beefier. He looks so fragile now.
Yeah.
Fragile.
Fragile.
Must be Italian.
You used up all the glue on purpose.
Not a finger. See, now we're talking about other movies. That's what we do.
There could be anything in there.
Yeah. It could be a bowling alley.
I was expecting to spend the whole day in bowling alley. Yeah. They just said, "Theme for Christ's sakes."
Mind power.
Oh, but man, I forgot Joey Lauren Adams was in that movie. I think she was married to Kevin Smith at the time that they were filming it.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know they were married. I know a lot of Kevin Smith stuff, but I didn't know that. Obviously, not that detailed.
Yeah, I believe they were at the time. Hated it. John Plaskett. But no, I mean, I remember when that came out. Like I said, I was a senior in high school, and when that movie hit, I didn't. You know what? I actually didn't see it when it came out because it was '95 that I saw Clerks, and then this came out on VHS. I didn't see this in the theater, and you know what it was? Is it bombed at the box office? I think it was only at the theaters for a couple weeks.
I didn't know. Hey, I was right. Silverchair. That was the intro song at the very beginning. Stoned by Silverchair.
Oh, really?
I know those guys anywhere. Cool. And then a little bit of Weezer at the end. That was awesome. Weezer, they were just like starting to get going. Yep, right there. Yep, good deal.
Yeah, all the way around. It's a classic snapshot of the mid '90s.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Ben
Affleck called his what's it called? Not casual mail. What was it?
Fashionable
mail.
Yeah, from fashionable males. Oh my gosh! And then also Terry from Three's Company, Priscilla Barnes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was quite
just real quick, the director likes to thank God for another opportunity to tell stories. Scott for deciding not to hike around the world. Jim, Sean, Mom and Dad.
For having
Walt
sex
for being the Brody template. Oh, boy. And lastly, John Landis and John Hughes for giving me something to do throughout my youth on Fridays.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good times.
It really...
definitely thumbs up for me. I wished I would have seen it sooner. And like I said, raising kids, doing the dad thing, doing the bull dance,
feeling the flow,
working it,
and
it's like we complete each other's
sentences.
Oh,
remember that Saturday Night Live one where it was the me harmony, and it's like the same guy dressed with a dragon. We complete each other's sentences. It's amazing.
I remember that.
Jay and Silent Bob will return in Chasing Amy, and they do. Did you see Chasing Amy?
The bits and pieces. Never seen the whole thing.
So after seeing that whole movie, how much of that movie did you see before?
Not much. Probably like half hour at the most, maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was never enough that I either was in the middle of something or like it was on Stars or whatever, and I was catching the tail end of it, and it's like, I'd like to see that whole thing, but I never ever did.
Yeah. So. We'll have to revisit the View Askew universe.
Sweet.
Clerks, Mallrats, and Chasing Amy. Dogma that doesn't really fall into that as much.
And that's one that I saw. I don't know why. Was that towards the end of his run?
I mean, that was his fourth movie, I think.
I didn't know.
Then the fifth one was, I want to say Jay and Silent Bob Straight Back, and then he did Jersey Girl, and then he did a horror film called Red State, which was really, really good. I liked it a lot. It was definitely a departure from his stuff.
So you don't recommend the extended version?
Well, here's the thing. We started the extended version. I don't mind if it's a little longer, but it was actually scenes that were replacing scenes in the movie. And, I mean, I would sit and watch it since I already knew the movie. But, yeah, if it's your first impression of the movie, there's a reason they left it on the cutting room floor the first time.
Yeah, there obviously is. The Batman references, where does he get those wonderful toys?
Oh,
that was perfect. I love that.
And Wolverine. And
definitely.
It was definitely a slice. The Fantastic Four #1 cover poster in the background of Brody's room. Yeah,
Mike Zeck Punisher poster. I was picking all that stuff up.
Hell hath no fury like a woman's scorn for Sega. You don't know who LaFleurs is? They don't know who LaFleurs is. LaFleurs. And everybody's like, we're going to tear that whole stage down. We found a weakness in it, just like the effing Death Star.
That was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I said, can't go wrong with the young Shannon Doherty.
No,
you just can't.
Michael Rooker, Yondu himself, and Jason London, and
I was looking for his other hand. Merle.
Well, it was covered in shit though.
That's true.
You got the shit hand.
The old stink hand.
A small price to pay for the smiting of one's enemies.
The old stink palm.
Stink palm.
Yeah, it was good, man. I highly recommend it now.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I
have to make sure my kids watch it, because they were only like 1 year old and 3 years old at the time. So, it definitely wouldn't have been kid friendly.
Well, and the thing is I'd say on the vulgarity scale, this movie, because it's very sophomoric, but this movie is probably about I'm going to say a 4 or a 5. Clerks is a solid 9 or a 10. Like, Clerks is about as filthy as...
That's what we were going for tonight, but it just didn't work out.
And there wasn't any nudity in it. Yeah, there's no nudity in Clerks. It's just the subject matter. It's of such an adult nature. Like, they pushed it about as far as you can go in a movie. And because it was an independent film.
Look at that brick phone he's holding. That's definitely screaming out 90s.
Yeah, little floors. I never remember the name of the heavyset guy, that Willem, that was always looking for the sailboat. Yeah. But he ended up being Brody's, Jason Lee's brother in My Name is Earl. Did you ever watch My Name is Earl?
A little bit, not much. Did you? He was also in, I remember what he was in now. He was in the one Bruce Willis movie, like one of the Die Hard movies. He was like, wasn't he like one of the guys? Did you see it? Like Die Harder or whatever?
I saw all the Die Hards.
Okay, wasn't he one like they went to whenever they had like the fire sale, and they went and he had the only house that had lights on? Wasn't he like the guy that had?
Yeah, that was Kevin Smith.
It was Kevin Smith. Wasn't he there too? Wasn't he in it somehow?
He might have been. Yeah, that was. See, that was. There was Die Hard. Then there was Die Harder. Then there was Die Hard with a Vengeance, which was 3. The 4th Die Hard...
gluten-free Die Hard.
Yeah, regular unleaded Die Hard. It was Live Free or Die Hard.
Yeah.
And
Sam Jackson.
It was super crappy. I mean, I thought the movie was kind of bad. It was like PG-13.
Yeah.
And, they watered it down. Then they made that last Die Hard. The 5th one.
I watched it.
Oh, I hated it.
You didn't like it? The one with his daughter in it?
No, that wasn't the last one.
Okay.
That's the one we're talking about. Okay. They made another one after that.
I didn't see that one.
It went to the theaters, and they talked about how it was for a global market, like they were releasing it like in China and overseas and stuff. So everything had to be almost Transformers-like, in that there's no real story. There's no real highs or lows. It has to be something that anybody can understand, even if you don't speak the language. No, it was terrible.
Shoot at the glass.
It was terrible. It was the most generic thing ever.
No making fists with your feet.
Making fists with your feet.
Yeah. Nakatomi.
Indeed. You know what? I want to give a quick shout out that has nothing to do with this movie, but has to do with the snackage that was involved in this movie. Garlitz's Pizza.
Yeah.
It's in Corganville, right across from Sheetz.
Yeah.
They are only open from 4 to 9 o'clock Monday through Friday. They're closed on the weekends. They're closed in the daytime. It's a family-owned thing. They make the best pizza. I would consider myself a bit of a pizza connoisseur, in the sense that if I'm somewhere and there's pizza, I'm buying and eating it.
Did you order extra cheese? Because there's like a gross metric ton of cheese on
I told them that I needed cheese because I haven't been eating carbs at all. And I had to make an exception on the...
Kind of went out the window with that.
Yeah, I had to make an exception on this. And you got to pick cheat days every now and again.
True.
Regardless is where my cheat day comes. Because I told them, I said, I need the most amount of cheese you can put on this pizza and it still cook.
And
like, that's
like
about
legal.
They're like, that's like 4 extra cheeses. I went, no. I'm not concerned with the math. Just make it happen.
Just do it.
Make it happen.
And it helps that it's on the way home.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they did it. They made it happen. And anyway, their pizza is incredible. It's the best one in town. I was hitting a lot of places in Pittsburgh. I think it's as good or better than anything I've found in the bigger cities.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, man.
And the price is right for me because you bought tonight. So, it's always a bonus.
Yeah, I also gave them hell at Sheetz. I don't know if you ever noticed, but the barbecued Fritos do not come in the small $1.19 packs.
Right.
You have to submit to the $17 bag of Fritos, barbecued Fritos.
Grimace proportions.
Grimace proportions.
We've powered through it. I mean,
the Chocotastic.
They're almost gone.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Dr. Nick.
Girl.
Yeah, well... We're sitting here at about the 14-minute mark, and
wow, I mean, I'm sure we could find something else to talk about.
Especially, I almost feel the heat because my uncle stopped in the store. Norman, you met him. Norman. Yes. He's awesome. Came in and he said he wishes this one lasted a little longer.
Yeah, like because he listens to it on his way to work. Yeah, and he's like, his 20 minutes was over. He wasn't to work yet. He's like, hey, what the heck? Yeah, keep talking. So I guess we're going to keep rolling. Eh? well, hey, I'm like right in your ear here. How's it going, eh?
No, I tell you what, and if I can stray from the formula for a moment, I do.
You may digress.
Peter David digress. Tell you what, I wanted to throw out there was I've at the comic store now for about 2 years, and
it's almost 2 years.
Yeah, coming up on
a celebration coming on.
It's October, man. October. It's the 2-year anniversary, and I I mean, you come in all the time, obviously. I mean,
Yes,
since the beginning.
2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Well, at the beginning, I was on like a Cal Ripken run. I mean, I was there every day. You were getting tired of seeing me.
Well, and it's funny because...
I think he thought I was stalking him.
It's funny because there's the... It's funny because the side effects of it. I mean, it's great. It's like comic store. It's fun. It's something I always want to do. But some of the side effects are like the friendships you make, I mean, obviously, like there's people, I didn't know you before that shop opened.
No, I mean, we've crossed paths before, but we didn't realize it.
Yeah, I mean...
Because I worked at Kramer's one day a week, and I guarantee you were probably there when I was there.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't even categorize that as like an acquaintance. Like,
no, but I mean...
Yeah.
We were occupying the same room.
Sure.
At some point in time.
I guess
we just didn't know.
Yeah, I guess my point is the comic store served as the catalyst to like start a friendship. And here we are chilling out, eating pizza and
reclining
and
expanding.
Reclining on separate chairs, people. But reclining nonetheless.
Yeah, paint that picture, why don't you?
But anyway, my roundabout point here, I guess I'm trying to make, is there's a ton of people that have come in that come to the store, and like it's cool to just meet all these people and stuff. Well, then you bring my uncle into this mix. My uncle has been Norman has been coming to the shop for it has to be close to a year where he's been picking up regular books. Right. I could be off by a little bit, but that's what it seems like. And I mean, obviously, I've known him my whole life. He's always been really cool, and we've always gotten along. But this has been the first time in my life that we have a regular common strain of just something that's really cool that we talk about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, without going into too much detail or getting too sappy about it, I just, there's things that have happened in my family and over the years and things, and some different things that have happened more recently. And it was just like, it was the most welcome surprise in the world. Like, it's so cool. So I know you're probably listening at this point, but just know how awesome it is that you roll in there regularly and that we hang out and talk. And it's something that I'm really, really just grateful for and happy for. So
you sound pleased.
I'm trying to.
You're pleased.
I'm trying to walk the line, though. I don't want to get too cheesy or nerdy.
It's all right. It's all good. Yeah, last week we were, saying bad words, and this week, we're making progress. We're coming out of that hole. Well, you're digging yourself out.
Well, speaking of Norman and I, we're going to check out the Comic-Con on Friday, and then Saturday I'm going again with Justin's going. Are you going to the Comic-Con?
I'm going to try to go. Yeah,
it's Comic-Con.
It's in the plans.
Good.
I'm supposed to be off.
It looks huge.
And I've never been to Baltimore Con, so
it was it's great. I mean, I don't want to sit there and be too repetitive about it.
You don't want to tell me it's life-changing, but it's going to be life-changing.
Oh, I think it is. I think that as a comic book fan, if you're somebody that's actively spending any of your money on comic-related stuff, I think that a trip to the Baltimore Con becomes something where when you leave there, you're like, okay, that's where I set my watch.
That's the Mecca.
That is where I try to squirrel money back for the rest of the year to go to Baltimore Con.
Man, I won't be able to spend it in your store.
It's Nerd Christmas. Well, and that's part of the reason why I was like, should I really be encouraging Tim?
Yeah.
For two reasons. One, then he's saving his money to spend it somewhere else. And two, when I go there and find awesome things to bring back to sell at the store, he'll have seen them too. That's and right. I've already bought what he wanted.
Yeah, I'm bogarting it already.
3 years ago I went there for the first time was when Eric Larson was there. Oh. I went in there with $1,500 and it was gone in 5 hours.
Wow.
And I don't know. I don't know what to say.
I can guarantee you I'm not going to have that kind of scratch on me.
Well, and I don't mean to sound like I had all this money in the world. I'd been saving for the Pittsburgh show.
Right.
And
you didn't go to the Pittsburgh show?
Well, I did, and at the time it was like $20, $25 to get in, and I didn't buy a single thing. Huh. And I came back and I don't remember how much, but I'd saved for most of the year. I had like $500 or $600. I was like, forget this. And I'm not doing this again. Right. So I saved it. Well, then I just missed the Baltimore show because this was December. So I just kept saving.
Rolled it over.
All the way around. Came back to September, rolled in there. Eric Larson was there. I had him sign the first 25 Savage Dragons, including the 3-issue miniseries. I had him sign my Savage Dragon figure. Got a picture with him. My son and I got a picture with him.
And you got a sketch.
Paid him for an 11 by 17 sketch. Yeah. And then he drew a free sketch on a backboard. A couple of them.
Sketch.
Yeah. And he's in my top 5 favorite artists ever.
Yeah, I enjoy him. Yeah.
And I'm not saying, how it is. It's like the greatest artist or your favorite artist. Those are two different things.
Right.
Yeah. Who's your favorite 5 artists, do you think?
Top 5 artists?
Yeah.
Well, McFarlane's definitely going to be in there because I'm in love with him. You know, I can't help it.
You love him or you're in love with him?
Well, I'm in love with him.
Okay.
Is that better?
There's no judgment here, man. I'm down.
Well, it is my couch.
So either accept the fact that I love Todd McFarlane or get the hell out.
Yeah, this one goes out to you, Todd.
I'm sure he's listening.
The Todd father.
The Todd father. Todd McFarlane, for those that may be listening, and I mean, I'm not sure who would be listening that doesn't know, but Todd McFarlane is the artist of Spawn, and before Spawn, he did legendary runs on Amazing Spider-Man and Incredible Hulk.
And Batman. Don't forget that.
And his art is just synonymous with a style, I think, that came from that, included guys like Stephen Platt and Greg Capullo, and guys that are movers and shakers, and he then opened...
Movers and shakers, I like that, yeah.
Then he started an empire with an action figure company, McFarlane Toys, and which went into NFL stuff.
Yeah, well, he's all over the place. Yeah, he's done
everywhere. Guy's a mogul, and I imagine he's a billionaire. I don't know how you're not. Yeah.
So other guys that are up there in my top 5, you know, Basil Wolverton, we talk about him all the time in the podcast. Just incredible detail, and his caricatures and... it's not unhuman. It's inhuman, the stuff that he draws. It's just amazing.
Right.
Unfortunately, he's no longer on the planet, but his, good thing that his artwork still is. So,
sure.
He did some independent stuff. He did a lot of stuff that wasn't, Marvel or DC or anything. He did a lot of other. It's just look him up. Just do yourself a favor and look him up. Jeff Darrow, another highly detailed guy, a Dark Horse Comics guy. He's up there with. He doesn't do the exaggerated stuff like Wolverton does. But it's just super detailed. I mean, the boards they draw on must be like bigger than the piece of poster board. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
And it's outrageous. It's almost like, I think because it's toned back from being too crazy, then the things that are happening that are so crazy, it's like it makes it that much crazier.
Right. And I can read Hardboiled tonight. Like if I get Hardboiled out and read it, there's 2 or 3 issues back in the day, oversized, and they're reissuing it with the guy that's coloring his stuff now, Stewart. Is it Dave Stewart? I think it is. Anyway, he's recoloring it, and it's going to be great. And I could read it tonight and find stuff in it I didn't see last time I read it.
How about that Jeff Darrow cover from, was it Shaolin #3, where the guy's like whipping dogs that don't have paws, but they have knives for paws,
razors,
and he's swinging them like they're nunchucks.
I need that in my life.
Yeah,
and a king crab that takes control of their mind. Yeah, I definitely need that. And obviously the classics like Kirby, you can't not like the King. I mean, we talk about that all the time too. I mean, he's got to be in my top 5. Just legendary.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody...
Volumes and volumes of work that he's done. I mean, it's just crazy.
If Jack Kirby's not in your top 5, I guarantee you, no matter who your top 5 are, they're influenced by Kirby.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Have to be.
Like Jack Kirby is in the top 5 of your top 5.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it rolls.
And I mean, I'm not like, bashing all the other guys because there's a lot of good art out there, but, I like the older stuff. Like, I'm sure, Kramer and Walls can agree with me on this as well. We might be able to touch on this weekend. But, like, I'm big into the EC stuff,
Yeah, hard.
Johnny Craig, Harvey Kurtzman, Jack Davis, all those guys. I mean, their stuff, it's just hard to explain on a podcast. It's hard to just get it into words. But, I mean, those covers to all those EC, Mad and Panic and Frontline Combat and Two-Fisted Tales and Tales from the Crypt and all that stuff. I mean, it's just made a big part of my life as far as, like, pop culture and all that good stuff. So
Sure.
I'm not beating a dead horse, but you guys got to check this stuff out. I mean, it's just amazing. What was your top 5?
You got about 4 so far. Then you got another one.
I got one more.
I believe you do because you said Kirby, and you said Darrow, and you said before Darrow you said McFarlane and Wolverton.
Well, I said there's other EC guys.
Okay.
I don't want to lump them all into one thing, but Jack Davis is one of my favorites. He just passed away a couple years ago. He was pretty amazing. I mean, I like all those guys, but there is a new artist I wanted to talk about that is currently he draws in Mad every month. I still get it. His name's Tom Bunk, and he's actually been around for a while. And he is like, it's kind of Evan Dorkin kind of like a little cartoony,
Mm-hmm.
like blood and guts and stuff coming out. But he's also got some Wolverton going on. Like he'd be like Wolverton's great grandkid. I mean, the stuff that he does. If you look up Tom Bunk, and he's an older fella. I mean, he's not a spring chicken. I'd like to meet him. He looks like he'd be a cool guy to meet.
Cool.
So let's give Tom Bunk a little bit of love tonight. So there you go, Tom. You're my number 5.
Nice.
You are my number 1.
With a bullet.
Guy.
With a bullet. Man, well, for me, it's Jack Kirby is number 1.
There you go.
From there, I try not to put him in a rank, but just general
I kind of
top
threw them all
5.
together too. Although I had to put Todd first.
Yeah, Mark Bagley.
Bags?
As far as the living artist, he's my number 1, period.
Okay. Well, okay.
Paul,
living.
Paul Ryan, who drew Fantastic Four when I was basically going from 11 and 12 years old into being a teenager.
Did he just pass away too?
Yeah, he did. He passed away last year. So definitely those guys. Eric Larson is on my list. And from there, I'd say it's going to be a tie between Derek Robertson, who did that series The Boys.
Oh, yeah.
It has a very smooth kind of a gimmick.
Yeah.
He also took over New Warriors after Mark Bagley left. And so I was a big fan of his, but he'd probably end up being number 6 for me, because number 5 would probably have to be Kelly Jones. I mean, the stuff's
Kelly.
just,
Yeah.
well, I don't have to sell you on
I
it.
said Kelly Jones and Kyle Holtz. What about Kyle Holtz?
I like Kyle Holt's stuff a lot. He just,
man.
Kyle falls into a category.
He did, man.
Kyle falls into a place with a litany of other guys. He's unique and he's cool, but it's not. I don't buy a book because he drew it.
I do.
Oh yeah, okay,
yeah,
and that's cool. Like I mean,
I lump him in with not to put him in with a category, but Frazetta, Wrightson, Jones, Holtz, those guys are like.
In terms of if they sell a book, you're buying it, or you're saying they're in the same arena.
That same kind of gritty, macabre. I'm having a hard time putting it into words. It just evil scientist.
There's like an
stuff.
atmosphere to it.
Yeah. I mean, like beakers and tubes and Wolfman and Plug. I mean, that kind of stuff.
I mean, I agree. I think though that, and no disrespect, just being honest about my opinion, I think Kyle Holtz is awesome, but if he's in that arena, he's in the cheap seats. He's not on the 50-yard line.
Man, that's your opinion.
Yeah, I just I think
I'm welcome to it.
I think Kelly Jones, and especially if you're getting to like Bernie Wrightson, I mean, they're all in the cheap seats compared to Bernie Wrightson.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking legend. Like I didn't throw Frazetta in there just because, but I'm thinking that you're not going to have Wrightson if you don't have Frazetta.
Sure.
That's just the way I look at it. And I'm thinking, Kelly Jones is like a disciple of Wrightson. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I don't want to sound like like I'm preaching about it, but that's the way I look at it. That's not that that's has to be my way or the highway.
No, I mean I agree with that. I would totally agree with that. I think that Holtz is probably the disciple of Kelly Jones. Then,
okay,
Yeah.
Well, they're buds.
Well, I'm Facebook buds.
Me too.
I'll tell you something about Kelly Jones. I've sent him a message maybe 3 or 4 different times.
And he's answered you every time.
Answers me back immediately.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah,
like
in your home, it's like, wow.
It's like he legitimately gives a damn that I'm.
Yeah. Well, Kyle Holtz has answered me many times. I always think that's cool.
Yeah.
He's actually like some of my statuses and stuff like that.
That's always cool.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what did you do all 5?
I believe I did.
Did.
Mark Bagley, Kelly Jones, Derek Robertson.
Yeah, Robertson. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Paul Ryan and Jack Kirby, and yep. Yeah, that was my rundown.
That's a very well-rounded 5.
Yep.
Did we get the past the 20-minute mark for the ride home?
We did.
That's awesome.
We're at 29 minutes and 25 seconds.
We're not even talking about the movie, but we did cover the movie very well, I think.
Yeah.
Without giving any details away or getting any.
It's good stuff with the Mallrats, though. I wonder.
90s, definitely. I mean, my goodness, but it was made in the 90s, so why wouldn't it be?
The thing is, too, though, is if you weren't a kid in the 90s and you were or a little older, like I mean, I think that a lot of times, like my kids would not watch this.
Probably not.
I tried to show this to my son, and he's like, "This is stupid," and it probably is. It's like the generation a little older than me, and I think of you and I as basically being this same generation. You're a few years older than me, but
a couple. There's a little bit of departure, but
yeah, like
I'm going to feel comfortable showing you Better Off Dead because I think you're going to get it.
Right.
You know,
did you
I want my $2, and you don't know what that reference is, and you need that in your life.
But like, but like my generation would have been in terms of movies would have been like American Pie, whereas my guess is that you would have been Porky's.
Right. That was my American Pie, but I did watch American Pie though.
Right, and you get it. I just mean,
and I was like, wow,
you were there real time.
Porky's out of the water.
Yeah, and like, I mean, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Like, I watch it; it's pretty damn tame. I can't really.
Yeah,
get into
it is tame now, especially with what we've seen.
Yeah,
we cannot unsee.
Yep. Well, guys, we hit the 31-minute mark here, so we'd like to thank our sponsors, which are not FYE, who do not know how to keep stuff in stock. It's literally the only thing FYE has to do is keep movies in stock that we can come up and buy. I haven't bought a movie, a hard copy of a movie, in more than 5 years. I go up there to buy 2 different ones, and they don't have either one. Their room is like, I don't know, a third the size of Big Lots, and it's nothing but movies, and they can't store it. It's like, if you guys can't give me the movie that I need, what else are you here for except for outrageously priced candy, gum, and action figures that I'm selling at a far more reasonable rate at Calling All Heroes Comics at 50 Stately Street. Facebook.com/Calling All Heroes Comics.
West Virginia.
301-697-1909.
Right behind Blanket Ships.
Yep, right behind Blanket Ships. Also, the official ticket.
That was seamless.
Also, the official ticket outlet of the Elite Pro Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah.
It's also the official home of the Calling All Heroes Comics podcast and the official home of the Calling All Heroes podcast movie review when we're not at the satellite location, which is also an undisclosed location at the Lease Ranch, courtesy of Tim and Sandy, who are kind enough to allow me to come in, lounge all over their furniture, eat noisily, and then watch a movie, and then peace out.
Right.
But I believe the time has come for me.
The time has come. You're getting kind of tired. I can
peace
tell.
out.
Your
You
voice
can tell.
is getting very docile. I could probably hit pause on this and throw a blanket on him. He'd be done.
Here's what we're going to do. Yeah. Okay, as an experiment, I'm going to pause this. We're going to wait a half an hour. Then I'm going to unpause it and pick back up. Okay, so hold on, everybody. All right, everybody. So, and these chips.
You're still here?
These chips is a pillow for the sweet smell of barbecue Fritos.
You want me to call your family? You're still asleep?
Call somebody. You know what, Tim? I'm gonna
take it. Just eat this.
I'm gonna. There it is. Eat that. Leave us alone. All right, Tim. So seriously, man, I don't know that I can drive home, so I'm gonna pause this and we'll pick it up in the morning. All right, Tim. I really appreciate you letting me spend the night here.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to head on home now.
Safe. It's foggy out there.
Yes, sir. Right. I will. And thanks so much for
taking that pizza with you. It's been sitting out all night.
You should have thrown that in the microwave, buddy.
I've eaten pizza that sat out all night before.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's
sometimes it's still alive,
but it has character,
right?
Pizza that sat out overnight has character.
It's good for brushing your teeth too. The crust.
Yeah, I was with you all the way up to the toothbrushing crust gimmick. So, all right, I'm going to hit the music that has what to do with us?
Nothing.
Nothing to do with us. One of these days, we're going to spring for some new tunes.
See you next week.
Yep. See you guys next week. Thanks.
Yeah.
Now I have to start the music all over again. Now we have to hear that song again. It's a bit urban.